Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends. My name is Rex Gibbons. I'm introducing John Abbott today. Welcome to you all for joining us for this very important occasion. Today I have the great pleasure of introducing John Abbott, the next leader of the Liberal Party of Newfoundland and Labrador and the next Premier of our province. Many of you do not know John Abbott because he has worked tirelessly in the offices and boardrooms of Confederation Building as a senior public servant in several departments and agencies. Those of you who do know John on a professional basis are aware of the many positive impacts he has made on our lives through his leadership within the public service. I, on the other hand, have known John for approximately 30 years, going back to my days as Minister of Mines and Energy. Throughout this time, I've witnessed his dedication and commitment to doing what is in the best interest of the people of this province. The path John is taking today is very familiar to me. I, too, was a relatively unknown public servant before I made the decision to embark on a political life in 1989. Like me, John has reached a juncture in his life where he feels he can do more as a member of the House of Assembly than he can do as a government official. I believe he can too. As a former Minister of the Crown, I can testify how important it is to have a capable individual at the helm of government who can lead the cabinet, manage the affairs and finances of a large public service with many departments and thousands of employees, and also have the ability to analyze complex issues, formulate a course of action, and see them through. As deputy ministers go, John Abbott is among the best with whom I have ever worked in my time in government. John is well known as an honest and respected advisor, and coming to meetings well prepared and his homework done and ready to give advice and the pros and cons. He has handled some of the most difficult issues that any government has had to contend with, and has done so with the utmost professionalism and sensitivity to what is best for the province. John held many executive posts within the public service, including Deputy Minister of Health. This role carries with it an enormous responsibility that John bore with dignity, humility, and with great compassion for the people who work in it and rely on it. I know I relied on that healthcare system myself 2 years ago when I had colon cancer. And the doctor, a great doctor, said afterwards, "Rex, I cut out that much, I put it back together, now go get well and walk." And I've been doing a lot of that lately. I have not known John to shy away from a challenge, and there are none greater than providing excellent health care under the financial pressures that confront this province today. Yet, John faced this challenge always with an eye to improving the quality of life for the people of this province. I'm not surprised that John has chosen to put his name forward as a candidate to lead the Liberal Party and the province during these difficult times. Frankly, I am very glad that he has. John's commitment to public service is unparalleled. As our next Premier, John Abbott will be an effective champion for all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. His leadership experience and understanding of government will enable him to hit the ground running on day one. I speak from experience. As I introduce John this morning, it is my hope that each person in this province will take an interest in getting to know him over the course of this leadership campaign. I believe you will discover, as I have, a man who is very capable of leading the Liberal Party to a majority government and this province to a brighter future. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the next leader of the Liberal Party of Newfoundland and Labrador and the next Premier for this province, John Abbott.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks for coming out. Now, before I continue, I want to acknowledge the territory in which we gather as the ancestral homeland of the Beothuk, and the island of Newfoundland as the ancestral homelands of the Mi'kmaq and the Beothuk. I would also like to recognize the Inuit of Nunatsiavut and Nunakuvavut and the Innu Nation and their ancestors as the original people of Labrador. We strive for respectful relationships with all the people of this province as we search for collective healing and true reconciliation and honor this beautiful land together. Thank you for joining me and my wife, Colleen Hanrahan, here today. With my roots in O'Dearn and Mairsheen Islands in Placentia Bay, my family has been living in this great province for over 200 years. I love this place. It is my home. And now I'd like the opportunity to make my home a better place and help it become the province we are meant to be. To that end, I am here today to officially launch my candidacy for the leadership of the Liberal Party of Newfoundland and Labrador. Now, these have been troubled days and even troubled years for our province. People are worried and angry at times about government inaction. There is a level of frustration and at times even hopelessness. We need a leader, a premier, who's prepared to tell it like it is and who has the experience, skills, and the know-how to get the job done. Time is not on our side. The challenges before us are huge, and without bold and meaningful action, the task gets greater with every passing day. This province needs an experienced leader who already understands government and government decision-making processes. We need a leader who can hit the ground running on day one. I am that person. This past summer, I backpacked from my home in Witless Bay to Port aux Basques. Along the way, I contemplated on what my friends and others are saying about what gets them up in the morning and what keeps them up at night. Unfortunately, too many families have more than that keeps them up at night than gets them up in the morning. People are worried about their communities, the future of this province, and our ability to emerge from our fiscal mess. They feel as if there's no one at the wheel, no one to chart the course and get us where we need to go. Since 1949, the Liberal Party of Newfoundland and Labrador has fostered progressive social and economic development changes for the benefit of our citizens. But somewhere along the way, the party has lost its vision, and we have been left with much anxiety for our future. For many years, as Rex said, I was the senior deputy minister in our province's government. While people know me best for my work in the health department, I was also an executive in many other areas, including finance, treasury board, municipal affairs, housing, and transportation, working under 6 premiers and governments. I have broad experience and insight into how government should be structured and how it works, and sometimes how it doesn't. I have been called a challenger and a straight shooter, a man who is honest and someone who is not afraid to state the facts, even when those facts are not popular. But I share the belief with many good people within government and across Newfoundland and Labrador that only by talking about and facing our true realities will we be able to steer our province through the current storm in which we find ourselves. We have often seen leadership back away from the very changes they they are said were needed, and all for the sake of political expediency. This lack of long-term vision in favor of short-term gain has hurt us. It is not who we are as a people, and not how we will get our province back on track. It must stop. As a people, as a party, and as a government, we need to step up to the challenges before us, not shy away from them. For if we continue to do so, our children and their children will bear the burden, and they won't forgive us. I know what the issues are. I know how government works. I know how to achieve consensus and lead to get results, especially when dealing with difficult issues involving many diverse groups and interests. And yet, some of those conversations will be difficult. The issues facing our province are immensely important, as I think we all agree. The Liberal Party and all Newfoundland and Labrador needs a leader that truly understands the issues and is willing to act on them. We need to be a government that can be trusted to initiate real changes, the right changes, and a government that knows how to develop a vision and a plan and turn them into real action. The province needs a government it can trust, leadership that is transparent and accountable, and in it for the good of the people. We need to be able to act immediately on such questions as, what do we offer our youth who are feeling disenfranchised and leaving the province? Who inspires them, like Greta Thunberg? How do we care for our seniors and our persons with disabilities, worried about their health and financial security? How do we encourage rural revitalization and the sustainability of our fishing, forestry, and farming communities and businesses, the backbone of our society? How do we empower our workers and innovators across all sectors and industries with plans to grow, but all too often fearing for their very survival? And for all of us, what plan do we have? Worried about our standard of living and our quality of life. In Newfoundland and Labrador, we are known for our ability to thrive in challenging times. It is in our blood and a proud part of our heritage. But now, for the first time that many of us can recall, we are an unhappy people. People, particularly our youth and young professionals, see no future for us. At the same time, we are thirsting for change and hungry for a better future. So, what are people doing? They are calling out for government to do something. But alarmingly, people have begun to doubt if government really can. I am here to say that yes, with an experienced, caring, and strong hand to harness the skills and talents that we all have at all levels of this party, our caucus, and the government, and new talent we can and must attract, we can change our condition and ensure our province's future. And furthermore, we can build ourselves into a vibrant place and become the province we are meant to be. From the early days of carving out the first homes in our rocky harbors, the people of Newfoundland and Labrador have been masters of their own destiny. Against the odds, we have made our homes here. The status quo was never an option, and it is certainly not one now. In fact, I would suggest that the status quo is our collective enemy. In the past, we had to change to survive. Scarcity was a way of life then, and maybe for a while again, but there is no reason it should stay that way. We have learned from our Indigenous citizens the need for protecting and sharing resources to survive as a community. Our sense of community is a large part of who we are as Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. This belief is more than a slogan for me. It has been with me for over my lifetime. It is what has shaped me. I grew up in a family of 10 children. We learned from an early age in our home that when money is tight, and it always was, you just can't have everything you want. You need to prioritize, separate needs from wants, and find ways to care for and support each other so that you all grow and you grow together. Because of this province's dire financial situation, some have suggested we needn't worry. The federal government will bail us out. We are not looking for a bailout, nor do we want one. This is not who we are as a people. We have everything we need to be successful. What we lack is the vision and plan to regenerate the province and revitalize our economy. We need bold, decisive actions in key areas. As leader of the Liberal Party of Newfoundland and Labrador, and as your next Premier, I will initiate change in 4 areas. Our first priority will be to create a credible plan that supports growth, stabilizes electricity rates, and addresses our deficit. We will develop a fiscal plan that is realistic and transparent, balancing the budget and reducing debt over time. Secondly, we will improve health, education, and other social outcomes. We will ensure excellence in our health, education, child, youth, family, housing, and correction services, and achieve better results. Thirdly, we will protect our environment, our culture, and our quality of life. We will safeguard our air, land, and waters, and develop a real plan for climate change in this province. And we will revitalize our rural communities and strengthen local government. Finally, under our 4th pillar, we will change the way we do business as a Liberal Party, as a government, and in our relationships with our Indigenous communities. Openness, transparency, ethics, and inclusiveness will be at the core of all we do. Now, I will be providing more details on my policy platform in the days and weeks ahead. The next leader of the Liberal Party and next Premier faces a daunting task. But then again, we all do. We are in this together. With resolve, energy, and courage, we will come through this storm. We are the Liberal Party of Newfoundland and Labrador. Under the stewardship of our past leaders, people like Joey Smallwood, Clyde Wells, Brian Tobin, Beaton Tulk, Roger Grimes, and our current Premier, Dwight Ball, we as a party have made substantial contributions to our province. I will now take up their banner to fight and forge our way to become the province we are meant to be. So therefore, I am here to serve and ensure it gets done. Thank you for coming out today. Now let's move on to the campaign and get her done. Thank you.
John will now have some private time with any of the media that want to cover him and time to wander around and say hello to anyone in the room who wants to talk to him. So thanks for coming. Thank you very, very much for coming.
Yep.
Issue for here, I think, right? And with that falls everything else in, right?
And what do you think, Jim?
Me,
I think in many ways what we tend to go with is that we go for the big shiny solution. So we bring in Greek agriculture, we bring in canopy growth, and I think in many ways when I look around this province, it's the small, we grow the economy from the base up.
Right.
It's the small, you go to the farmers market, and you got people there everywhere, small businesses. I think that's what's going to drive the economy in the long term, more stability. That and the environment. I think in many ways.
Don't forget your mustard pickles.
Oh, wait. I got you. You don't have to cook them.
No, if you could, I suppose. Depends now. If you were top geared or something, you might cook them.
I think mustard pickles are traditional and they should be enjoyed as a side. They're not mixed in. I'm a purist in that way. So, mustard pickles are perfection in and of themselves. Why you can't improve on it? Why add them to something else? Oh, yeah, well, in that case.
There, that goes on the sauce. There, done. Well, I thought most people, like my brother, they use it as a garnish, condiment on the side, right? And,